So, welcome, fellow human beings. We are here on this very dense plane called Earth together, and there's a reason why we're here. None of us is a mistake here. So, when illness visits us while we're visiting here, why do we reject it? Simply because we have been taught to do so. And my own impression is this happens in order to make sure that we feel we need something outside of us, somebody outside of us, and that we cannot heal ourselves. This way we'll become profit margins for others. This way they can sell us things, have us go and do treatments and other things that we could do ourselves if we went internally and we accepted illness as simply a part of being fully alive on earth. We need to stop rejecting all the experiences of life. Yes, sometimes we need help. We do need help most of the times. And we need others to guide us, assist us. We need so many gifts that the earth offers us to assist us, like herbs and fruit and botanicals, and we need tender moments with ourselves or with others to remind us that we are human beings, B-E-I-N-G-S, not bins, B-E-E-N-S, that we are being. We are part and parcel of a whole apparatus here on earth that is called life. And it gives us and takes from us exactly what we give and take from it. We are the masters and mistresses of our life here. And in order to be fully alive, we must welcome all the experiences of life and reject none. What do I mean by this? I have been taught by illness in my own life on a very deep level that I matter. I never mattered to myself so much as when I was ill. Do you find that that's true for you too? I also found that that was the only time that I gave myself, in many times of my life, that was the only times that I gave myself permission to rest. That was the only time that I allowed myself to be totally and completely preoccupied with my own time here on earth for myself. That I wasn't trying to help somebody else, do for somebody else, do something, be productive. I found that illness taught me that I matter, that taking quiet time for myself is important. So, after receiving this gift several times of illness, I finally got it. So I started creating 1 day a week, which I took off. It's interesting because in Judaism, we have this day called Shabbat. And I started observing Shabbat, but in a way that is beyond what Judaism actually gave us, which I love. I love the fact that you don't travel. If you really observing all the precepts of it, you do not, you can travel, but by foot. You don't travel by automobile, by car, by vehicles. You don't pollute the earth. In other words, you're not doing the same thing you do every day. You do something different. So you can walk, you can hike, you can swim, you can do all these other things, but you do something different. But what I did was I turned it into a day of silence as well, and a day of fasting. And I have never, ever been so happy or been in such a place of tremendous peace as when I started observing Shabbat. And then I went back to my old self and I stopped again because I got so much stuff to do and things to do and people to see, and it became again another festering of the old wounds within myself. And so I got ill again. Because ill is always the place where I go to restore myself and my own sense of being. So illness I see as a time of restoration. So I decided to just put aside the day again of restoration for myself so that illness doesn't have to do it for me. And that's what I do now. I realize now that I am worth it. I deserve a day with me. I deserve a day to be in peace with all of earth and all of the beings on earth by staying in a place of silence and by being in a place of reverence for all that is. By being a place of observance rather than a place of doing. By being in a place of witnessing rather than being in a place of adding to, rather than being a place of activity. That the only activity that I need is to get out of my own head and of my own mind, be quiet, be silent, and just be. And that is where I found the tenderness that existed in me for my own self. A tenderness which no one else could ever, ever give me. A love that passes all understanding of everything else I've ever experienced. And a feeling of being okay, and a feeling of being totally and completely connected with all other beings on earth, with everything else on earth, but most importantly, an otherworldly feeling that not only do I not belong here in the long run, but I'm just here for a short visit. And so I now honor and I revere this day that I keep for myself, where I meet myself, where I reinvent myself, not as a constant active being doing, helping, and I just sit in reverence of life. And that is what illness taught me, to revere all the experiences of life, to be quiet, to realize that life is full of beauty and abundance and tremendous love. And so can you use illness to see and do this as well. As long as you're not chasing after being normal, as long as you're not chasing after feeling better and being better, as long as you simply allow yourself to experience, like I finally allowed myself to experience all the beauty of the illness and realize that wellness is part of feeling healthy and ill and healthy and sick and healthy all the time. And that's being healthy, is by being open to experiencing all of life. And some people find this is just too much for me. I can't do this anymore. I cannot deal with this. Life is overwhelming. Rather than take some time for silence, that's what they do. And then they start thinking about ending their own lives. But please remember, if you're at that stage and you're at that place and that comes up for you and it's beginning to be seductive to you, remember this. The sad thing is, and this is what Kirkuk said, suicide doesn't end the pain. It just passes it on onto someone else. What you're doing when you commit suicide, because you don't wish to do the work that you came here to do, is you simply pass that pain on to someone else. Is that what you wish your legacy to be? Is that what you wish your gift to be? Is one of pain to others? I certainly don't. So if you find that being in pain is too much for you, then let go of trying not to be in pain and try instead to be in pain. Accept it, multiply it, amplify it, sit with it, welcome it, and I think you are going to be stunned at the outcome. Because yes, life is magical and you are a magical being, and you can take anything and turn it into the pearl that it is. You are the pearl. Now you need to just learn how to find your own pearl that's within you. So I say welcome all of life. Illness is part of being fully alive, and just change your own perception of it. Stay away from mainstream media. That's my first and most important advice to you, because they glorify things that we're not, and they have a false perception of ourselves. We're not consumers. We didn't come here to be consumers. We didn't come here to look a certain way, be a certain way, act a certain way, do a certain thing. We didn't even come here to do. We came here to be us. Because by being us, this is where we add to the world rather than detract from it. Find out who you are. And the greatest tool for me was, in finding out who I was being ill. So, thank you for being with me today. I trust that this was of some help to you in realizing that you're much more than being an illness, that you don't need to be afraid of being ill. We have set up entire societies and institutions to prevent illness. They do not work because illness is the gift. So thank you. Please click on the subscribe button, the notification button, and share this with others who need to accept themselves for being the pearls that they are. Thanks, everyone. I look forward to more with you here on these elegantly raw tidbits. This time, every day, Monday to Fridays, this same platform.